the Prattville Lions Football Review Show with Coach Caleb Ross. Brought to you by Long Lewis Ford,
Gibson's Tire Pro,
Dreyer Physical Therapy, and Lynn North, your local All-State agent.
Hello, Lion Nation, and welcome into Week 8 of the Prattville Football Review Show. I'm Will Barrett, along with head coach Caleb Ross, looking back at this previous week's game against the Auburn Tigers. We came up a little bit short. Everybody that saw the game, if you blink, you miss it. It was the fastest game we played all year. But, Coach, 27-10 final score definitely doesn't tell the story of this game.
No, this was a score, I think, was 14-10 with about 8 minutes left to go in the game. And Auburn scored, 2 late touchdowns to make the score what it was. Very disappointing outcome, but very proud of our effort. I thought our kids, man, the difference in early in the year when we played a game like this, I don't know if our kids truly believed. Man, our kids believed they were going to win that game. We had a great week of practice. And that's what I told them when we got back, either on the field after the game, even when we got back to the indoor back at the high school. I said, from a coach standpoint, you're always disappointed in the outcomes, but you can always be proud of 2 things. The way the kids focused and prepared all week, man. I really challenged them to have the right mindset. We had really good days of practice last week. Even on traveling with a pretty good distance away from Prattville, and our kids were focused all day. We left school a little bit early, went over, did walkthroughs, meetings. Man, we were dialed in from the start, and I was very proud of that, man. We come out, I thought we played really well defensively. We did. Like I said, Auburn, man, when we needed to make stops, we made stops, and they were a very good football team, very good defensive football team, and we knew that scoring a bunch of points was not going to be, on the menu, so we knew when we had opportunities we had to take our chances, and we were able to hit some of them, and some of them we weren't. But, like I said, disappointed in the outcome, but not disappointed in the effort. And to me, it's just the growing stages of trying to get this program back to where it is. And like I told the kids, you belong in this game. You can play with a team like this. And it's, it is a kind of tough pill to swallow to even say that for a Prattville program, but that's the reality of where we are. And we're so close, man. We're so close. I think the more we play, the more we're in this position, we're going to start winning those ball games. That's the next step of getting this thing back on track, and hopefully that will happen, when we move forward in the playoffs.
Well, Coach, you say that a lot, that this team's very close, and that's not just Prattville speak. I mean, when we arrived to Duck Sanford Stadium last week, on Friday, we arrived really early, and there was some of the coaching and support staff that was there to meet us, and they said, we've been watching Prattville, and there's no way we're looking past y'all tonight. This team has improved. This team is capable of winning this game tonight. Even over at Auburn, they're saying the same thing you're saying. This team, we can't overlook Prattville because they can beat you. They can beat you any night. So that speaks volumes to where you've brought this program and where this program has come to this point, and it just keeps that upward trajectory we keep talking about. I know you got to be proud, even in a loss. You're never happy to lose, but proud of the way this team played and the heart they showed. And up until midway through the fourth quarter, this was a one-possession game. It's anybody's ball game. And we were looking at some plays before we came on to do the show. And, man, when you say close, I mean a razor's edge separates winning and losing that game.
That's it. There's a couple plays where, man, if you hit this throw here, if you can get this ball off, or, man, if we just get this tackle right here and don't let him slip through our hands and they don't convert, then you maybe get the chance to flip the field position, and then you get a chance to maybe score. And I know it sounds, because we got to get to the point in this program where we win those games, and we will. That's the reason why we're here. We're here to make this thing to one of the top programs in the state. But I guess even a year ago, Prattville really wasn't in that position. Here we are. We're so close to getting us back, and we still got a little work to do before we get in the playoffs. And I know we'll talk about that. We got to go beat a much improved Smith Station team. Mm-hmm. As much like Prattville, where they weren't very good in the last couple of years, and here they are. They got one of their better teams. Just the fact that we're in this conversation, I'm very proud of that. Now, the competitive person in me, the winner in me, man, any game you go play, you want to go win. And I'm a guy that, man, I'll tell anybody, hey, there is no such thing as, there is second place, but, man, we don't want moral victories. We don't want feel-good stories. We want to go win. They turn the scoreboard on, we're going to win. We're going to put the time and effort into it. We want to be the best. But I'm very realistic of where we were to where we are now. Very proud of. Still got a lot of work to do in so many ways, so many areas. But from where we came in February to changing the mindset, changing the attitude of these kids, the focus, just making them competitive and getting them to the point where they believe they can win a game like this. I'm extremely proud, extremely aware of that. you just hate that we couldn't find those extra plays to make Friday night to find a way to win that ball game.
Even in a loss, Coach, there were some really bright spots I thought that could be taken out of this. For one, no turnovers.
That's right.
Offense committed no turnovers. You saw some big playability again. We've seen all year from Trey Edwards to Malik Smith to get us within that 14-10 range just before the end of the half and steal the momentum back. And also on defense, when you got players like Jacob Howard, Zach Berner, Rodney Thompson, Will McQuiston, all making big plays all over the field. Now there are a bunch of others, but when we were talking about players of the game last week, we gave our Player of the Week game award to Rodney Thompson, but it could have been any one of those guys.
Yeah, man, I thought our defense had a really, really good night. And truthfully, just to be fair to our defense, they were probably on the field maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 more plays than they probably should have been. If we could have sustained a few more drives on offense and kept our defense off the field, maybe those last drive or two in the fourth quarter, man, we're not quite as wore down where we can make those plays. But you said it best, man. Rodney had a great game. Rodney Thompson played outstanding. Chris Bozeman, having him back in the middle really impacts the game. And a lot of times, just from the football coach standpoint, maybe he's not making 8, 9 tackles, but he eats up double teams, or he's causing plays to bounce wider than they should, and there's a linebacker or another DN to make a tackle. Jake Howard had another big night. Man, he didn't play his best last week against Jeff Davis. He responded really well. Had 13 tackles Friday night. Had a really good night. Brandon Butts, man, outstanding football player. Just had a huge stop down there when they were going in trying to score to force them in a 4th and 2, 4th and 3, which we made a stop. Will McQuiston continues having solid, really good nights. Just like I said, you could list them all. Skylar Henderson had a really good night. Really proud of his effort, man. He played his best ball game. I just thought overall, from a defense standpoint, because just to be truthful, we didn't play well defensively against Jeff Davis. They responded the right way and played really well. We gave up a few third down conversions there, but man, Auburn's was 7-0 for a reason, and they got enough playmakers. But I thought we had a really good night defensively. Just unfortunate, we just couldn't make quite enough plays on offense to give us a chance to win, to actually win the game. So.
Most sports writers around the state have Auburn High School around the third or fourth ranked team in the state, depending on which poll you look at. But they play a different brand of football than what we've seen most of the year. They play that ground and pound game where the game goes very fast. Not a whole lot of passing, just a ground and pound, eke it out kind of offense. And this game was over in less than 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I heard you say that. I guess we don't. Obviously we don't keep track of time when we're coaching it. But I tell you one thing that Auburn was, and where I was really probably the most proud of our kids. You watched Auburn on tape; they were a very physical football team, man. I really gave Coach Weingard and their staff credit, man. They were very physical on both sides of the ball, on both offense and defensive line, and really challenged our kids that we had to match that physicality. Because they're going to bring it. Man, I thought our kids did the exact same thing. That game was a physical game, but I thought it was even on both sides, man. We didn't back down. I thought D-line wise to their O-line, not only we matched, I think we were probably just as much, if not more, physical than them, and it really showed. We controlled the line of scrimmage. Up front for their D-line, they're really, really good. They got after us in some areas, but I thought our kids didn't back down. It was a very physical ball game. Really gets back to what Prattville's known for. Man, we play physical style football. We have those type kids. And the fact that we never want to let another school be more physical than us. Football it's a physical game. It's a contact sport, and we got to embrace that. You know what I mean? And so I really thought we did a really good job of that Friday night.
And with all the physicality in that game, it looked like we came out pretty injury-free.
It's a credit to what we do, what Coach Shook does in the off-season, our weight program, and the way we practice. We're smart with how we practice. It is 2018. It's not 30 years ago, but we do football physicality part of that sport is part of it. And so there's moments in practice throughout the week where we do some good-on-good competition. And just because you don't want it to be a culture shock on Friday night. You want our kids to get to Friday night and they're not used to the game speed or the physicality. So we keep that physical part of practice and how we condition our bodies in the weight room in the off season and during the season. Really shows because, we've been pretty healthy all year. We're able to stay in ball games 4 quarters. We don't get tired. You don't see our kids cramping up. You don't see our kids laying out on the ground. We get some nicks, we get some bumps, we get some bruises. That's part of it. But just, I've been very proud. We're here week 8, and we've had a couple kids get some season-ending injuries that was going to happen anyway. But for the most part, we're a pretty healthy football team.
Week 8 in the books, and Prattville fights hard, but comes up a little bit short at Duck Sammer Stadium to the Auburn High School Tigers. Let's take a look at some of those highlights right now.
This is Caleb Ross, head football coach at the Prattville Lions. I want a special thanks, special shout out to Long Lewis Ford for being a proud supporter of Prattville football. Prattville football and Long Lewis, both built Ford tough.
I think this we advise thing has gotten a little bit out of control.
What do you mean?
Hootie, I think I need a change. Should I cut my hair?
Disney World or Las Vegas?
Leather pants or a kilt?
How can I get
What do
my
you think?
Is it all right to wear socks with
Do you
sandals?
babysit?
Let's just stick with what we know.
Gibson's Tire Pros. We advise, you decide. Serving the River region for over 35 years and carrying great tire brands like Bridgestone and Firestone.
In our profession, we see a lot of remarkable recoveries. One thing that each success story has in common is the courage needed to take that first step. At Dreyer Physical Therapy Institute, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to get the expert opinion you need, so we've made that first step free. Sign up for a complimentary screen at any Dreyer location today, and we'll assess your condition and recommend the best next steps to get you back on the road to recovery. Call or click today to schedule your complimentary screen. DreyerPT.com/screen.
I'm a teenage girl. My BFF Becky texts and says she's kissed Johnny. Well, that's a problem because I like Johnny. Now, I'm emotionally compromised and whoopsies. I'm all, OMG, Becky's not even hot, And if you've got cut rate insurance, you could be paying for this yourself. So get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Mayhem is everywhere, so get an Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
Coming out of the highlights package, Coach, you see what you all saw. What we saw Friday night is that there was a really tough defense we're competing against. Prattville still finds a way to put themselves in position to be successful, taking it down to the 1 yard line on a couple of occasions, and only coming away with a handful of points. That was probably the difference. It could have been one of the main difference in the ball game there.
Absolutely. There's two things to me. You know, when you're inside the 10, you got to come away with touchdowns. You know, we got down to the one that first time and really missed a read on a pull read, but that happens sometimes. And man, you hate that you didn't get the touchdown. You had to settle for a field goal, and then unfortunate we got a holding call. Man, we drove and get a nice run down to the 1 or 2. Obviously, we didn't see it that way. I do think the officials called a good game. There's a couple things there that could have went your other way. That's part of it, but I thought that was one that, man, I don't know about that one, but that's part of it. There's things that probably went our way too. So. And the other thing too, in the second half, we never could get the field position flipped on the other side. I mean, people ask me, Coach, why did you go for it down there when you backed up on your own 15, 16-yard line? And it was definitely a risky move, and looking back on it, maybe we shouldn't have. But I was afraid if we didn't get the first there, we were going to be backed up in our own end zone. And it kind of proved that way. We were able to get a first down and get another one to move it out a little bit, but we could never get the field position flipped. And I knew just if it was going to be a battle back and forth, eventually, with them being on our side of the field, time was on their side. They were eventually going to find a way to punch it in, and that's what happened, man. There was a critical play right there where I think we had them in a 3rd and 12, and they hit a screen for a big play, which is a really great call by them, great execution, and man, that was a really pivotal play. But you're right, you got to get touchdowns inside the 10, and you got to find a way, man, to sustain a drive, to get it out on the other side of the field. But in a game like that, when you know it's going to come down to be a 17-14, 14-10, field position is critical. It's not going to be a shootout. It's not going to be a 38-31 game. So, we just weren't quite able to move the chains enough to put it back in our favor. So.
Well, we'll close the book on Auburn and start to turn our focus on to next week against Smith Station. But before we do that, we're going to do one of our favorite segments here on the Football Review, going inside the Lions cage. And this week, we got a really special young man named Jorden Garland. You're going to get to know a little bit more, and tell us a little bit about him before we go in.
Yeah, awesome young man. Moved in from his family's military. They were stationed in Germany last year. Moved in, he got here about the same time I did in February, and just an exceptional human being, man. Got a lot of leadership qualities about him. A very mature kid. Really good football player. He's really stepped up. He was a guy that was already rotating in and playing a good bit, and with the injury we've had to Jalen, and he's getting healthy again, and we should get him back, and he played a little bit the other night. Jordan's really stepped up and really taken more of ownership at that position, and has made some tough catches, over the middle, running some space and stuff, and had a nice couple catches against Jeff Davis last week. But really enjoy that young man. Going to be a successful human being no matter what he does.
We love him. You're going to love him too. Let's go inside the Lions cage with wide receiver Jorden Garland.
Jorden Garland, number 18, wide receiver, class of 2019. McDonald's.
Go-to order.
2 McDoubles and an Oreo McFlurry. Pre-game, I'm listening to a little bit of Kodak, Future. That's about it. We be cleaning all white, so I say all white. Favorite movie, gotta go back to Drumline. Famous person, I'll say Beyonce. That's.
Where in Prattville would you take her?
Prattville? Probably go out to eat because I like to eat. We'll probably go to Outback. Inklings. I hate Inklings so much. Coach Shook, okay. I try to get away from Coach Shook so he can't see me sometimes, but when we doing squats. Lower, Jorden, lower. Drop your butt. Okay, coach, I got you. I've been in Prattville line. It's good playing for the community and having a lot of support. Everybody coming to see you out there, put on for the community. Well, I'm from Florida, so of course the beach. Oh, cool. Yes, Auburn, plenty of times traveling. Only know choose, which is bye, and donka is thank you. I say a strawberry melon brisk. I can cook very well. Like I learned from the best, which is my grandmother. So Pittsburgh Steelers. Snakes. I mean, not a lot of people know many things about me, but snakes is a big thing that scares me. And I'm not scared of a lot of things either. Halloween, I want to do the purge, like the purge look. But my mom, she wants the Migos look, cause I don't even know why she wants that. Stathopoulos. I have a hard time trying to say his name. Stathopoulos. STATHOPLES. Hooray for Prattville, hooray for Prattville. Someone in the standings yelling for Prattville. Hooray for Prattville. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me who you're yelling for. Prattville, that's who.
This is Caleb Ross, head football coach at the Prattville Lions. I want a special thanks, special shout out to Long Lewis Ford for being a proud supporter of Prattville football. Prattville football and Long Lewis, both built Ford tough.
I think this we advise thing has gotten a little bit out of control.
What do you mean?
Hootie, I think I need a change. Should I cut my hair?
Disney World or Las Vegas?
Leather pants or a kilt?
How can I get
What do
my
you think?
Is it all right to wear socks or
Do you
sandals?
babysit?
Let's just stick with what we know.
Gibson's Tire Pros, we advise, you decide. Serving the River region for over 35 years and carrying great tire brands like Bridgestone and Firestone.
In our profession, we see a lot of remarkable recoveries. One thing that each success story has in common is the courage needed to take that first step. At Dreyer Physical Therapy Institute, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to get the expert opinion you need, so we've made that first step free. Sign up for a complimentary screen at any Dreyer location today, and we'll assess your condition and recommend the best next steps to get you back on the road to recovery. Call or click today to schedule your complimentary screen. DreyerPT.com/screen.
I'm a teenage girl. My BFF Becky texts and says she's kissed Johnny. Well, that's a problem, because I like Johnny. Now, I'm emotionally compromised and whoopsies. I'm all, OMG, Becky's not even hot. And if you've got cut rate insurance, you could be paying for this yourself. So get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Mayhem is everywhere, so get an Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
Well, there you have it, Jorden Garland. You know a little bit more about him, just like we do now, Coach. This the first time we've done Inside the Lions Cage in a football review show like this, and I got to say it's been one of the most one of the most fun things that we've done with these programs is getting to know these kids on a more personal level.
Yeah, we say it every week, man. it was a great idea by Stacy Mills. He's the one that presented it out there. Man, I thought it was super.
Isn't he great?
He is. And people don't even understand all the things he does to make Prattville football great, and all the video and the different things. But this was his idea, and man, he had a vision for it, and it's really turned out really well, man. It's really good that our fans and parents and supporters can see the personality of our kids. And here's another good example, and that's what I want people to understand, man. We got really good boys, man. We ain't all just meathead football players,
right.
Man. They're good kids that are going to be intelligent and go on to be really successful people in this world. And Jorden Garland is no exception. So.
Prattville's sitting at 5-3 right now, 3-2 in the region, and now the all-important final regional game of the season comes up next week on the road at Smith Station. Talk to us a little bit about the importance of this game and what we might see from a team like Smith Station.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's the next game. So, that's coach speak, but it's true. You got to put all your focus and attention into the next team you play. They're a team that's much improved. Man, I think they didn't win a game last year, had only won one in 2 years. That's not the case this year. I think they may be 5-3 as well. I'm not real sure exactly their record, 5-3 or 4-4, but much improved. You turn on the tape, and those kids, man, they're playing better football. They're sound. They believe they can win. Man, I really have a lot of respect for what they're doing over there. You go on the road. It's going to be another road environment. And it's the same part of the state we were in last year, so it's going to be a similar trip that we did this past Friday. But anytime you go on the road, it's going to be difficult. You're going into a new dressing room, unfamiliar place. We got to be able to handle that. And this game means a little bit. Somebody tells me we're in the playoffs regardless. I really don't know. To me, the way I look at it, we got to win this one to get in. And for sure, if not, at least win this one to be a third seed. And so, we got to go, bottom line, we're still at the point in our program where we got to go compete every day and compete every game. And I'm going to see how our boys respond to Friday night after coming off a loss, a big emotional loss. How we're going to respond this week is really going to be the challenge and the key to us being successful Friday night.
Kickoff next Friday night from Smith Station, Alabama will be 7 o'clock. We'll be on the air at 6:15. Want all you folks to listen in. If you can't make the trip to Smith Station, I know it's a little bit longer trip, but this is in the game that the Lions really need you there. Need you in those visitor stands supporting this team. It's going to be a fight for the playoffs. Playoffs basically start next Friday.
That's it. It's the best way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm. So be there, be loud, support our boys. They really need it and they deserve it. We're going to go ahead and sign off. This has been the Prattville Football Review Show with Coach Caleb Ross. I'm Will Barrett saying good night. God bless. Go Lions.
The Prattville Lions Football Review Show with Coach Caleb Ross. Brought to you by Long Lewis Ford,
Gibson's Tire Pros,
Dreyer Physical Therapy, and Lynn North, your local All-State agent.